Good morning. Surprise, surprise. It is Monday, December 20th. I'm Carrie Freeman. Welcome to My Left Ear. I'm jumping in and doing a very short My Left Ear video. This is number 69. And if you've never been here before, I do commentary and some psychic predictions. And I'm a left-leaning progressive type person. So if you are a MAGA, you will not like this. You will not like me. So I'd say move on. I also professionally call myself a change agent. I do psychic coaching, and you can contact me and ask me about that. I do therapeutic hypnosis, which I've been doing for 20 years. And I help people with writing and performance issues because I have this artistic background. So there's Petey's tail. Okay, we'll hope he behaves himself. He's really a showboat. He likes to interrupt, so now I'm worried. But let me see if I can get through this. And this is for entertainment purposes only. I like to say that. So I had an experience last night in my kitchen that made me want to do this short video today. Now, I had entitled it, "And the Oscar Goes To," for a really good reason. The Oscar does not go to Joe Manchin, although he was acting this week, a few days ago. He was acting, and that's what I want to talk about, because no one is suggesting that he was acting, and I have a reason for saying this. So there wasn't a soap opera once on TV that was on for years and years and years called As the World Turns. I don't think it's on anymore, but many will remember it. And this started to look to me like As Joe Manchin Turns. And every other day there's a new episode, and he's the star of the soap. That's my metaphor. But there is no Oscar for Joe Manchin because he's a bad actor. And I mean that physically and ethically in all ways. So here's the teeny little backstory. I'm just looking over to see what Petey's up to. There's this little backstory you probably know, but it's good if I just simply repeat it. This past week, Manchin made a gentleman's agreement with our president, Joe Biden, at Joe Biden's home, which is very personal. They shook hands, and they just made this BBB agreement that they were going to work on it, they were going to get it done. But after they shook hands, Manchin had some staff member notify the White House that the negotiations are done. And then when the White House tried to reach him, he was unavailable, and he ended up on Fox News 20 minutes later, making this announcement. There's Petey causing trouble. Come on, Petey, settle down. He went from shaking the president's hand to Fox News, which is downright hostile. Now, the reason he went to Fox News is because he knew they weren't going to ask him critical questions. So he went on to be a showboat, cause, more critical mass. And let me just say a few things. I have an odd perspective on this, and there's a reason why I have an odd perspective on this. So this is what happened. Thought about it all day, read all the tweets, was in my kitchen, and this will happen around water. I think I mentioned this to you. For some reason, water's like a conduit for me getting information. And my left ear said to me, "Carrie, he's acting. He's a con." But by this time, he'd gotten everybody really upset. So I need to tell you about my history for a minute. I've touched on it here and there. It's going to sound a little bit like a humble brag, but it is the reason that this message came through. So my history is that I was on stage as a little girl. So I've been performing my whole life. Then I started acting my senior year in high school. Then I went to college and I majored in acting, and I got a degree in theater and directing. and I've directed 3 plays successfully. I've coached actors and prepared really great working actors for film roles. I have a neighbor who has a really great resume and was in some movies that you would recognize. And sometimes when she has a role, she comes up and she hires me and I prep her and we have a great time. All right, so I'm very plugged into acting techniques, good actors and bad actors. But there's one other thing. As you know, I worked 8 years in a drug and alcohol rehab. 8 years, 4 days a week, 8 hours a day. So I saw I met with thousands of people that were into drugs and alcohol. And my personal experience is that they all lied, and they lied a lot. And they were really good actors. But what it created in me, it enhanced my left ear. I had to be so acute when I was sitting in the room. I'll just tell you a quick story. I had a guy in my room. He was from Las Vegas. He was into coke and da-da-da-da-da. Kind of jumpity, hyper guy. And all of a sudden I looked at him and I said, "Are you high?" And he had a fit. He got so angry with me, screaming and yelling and how dare you. And he was so good at it that I apologized to him. But when we finished our session, I called the nurse downstairs and I said, "We're breaking for lunch. I think you should pull him and give him a drug test." Guess what? He had been taking drugs because there's a way to get them if you really want to get them. And he got some. And he was dirty for coke. I was right. He was a pretty good actor. But that's where I got this acute thing. So I watched Joe Manchin. I listened to Joe Manchin without watching him, just listening when he was on Fox. And I did it like an FBI profiler. Now, I'm not telling you I'm trained as an FBI profiler. I am not. But that's how acutely I was plugging in. So when Manchin on Fox said, I'm reading it, I really tried, Brian. I think it was Brian Kincaid. I can't remember who was interviewing him, so I apologize. I'm just going to say Brian for the heck of it. I tried, Brian. I mean, I really, really tried, but I just can't. I can't go face my people in West Virginia and explain this. Oh, it was so heartfelt. It was so soft, puppy face, sincere, that it was awful acting. It was just the worst acting. And he went on Fox, clearly, because he didn't want to be asked any critical questions like, "Well, Joe, what is it that you don't want to explain? That they're not going to get the child tax credit and they have 4 children? What is it?" Well, Fox didn't. He didn't do that. That's why he's... So, but one thing that the Fox guy did, he nailed him. And he said, so Joe, does that mean you are a no? And let me tell you, there was a pregnant pause. Joe was put on the line and he wasn't expecting it. The pause, I could hear him thinking, I could hear him taking that breath. And he said, yeah, it's dead. But I'm here to tell you, Build Back Better, the human infrastructure, is not dead. Just watch and wait. But my God, he really got everybody excited, and they're still excited today. Everybody's going a little bit nuts. I saw either a congresswoman or a senator, and I can't remember. I think it was a senator that I happen to really like. I'm not even going to mention her name because she was almost in tears. And she's one of our greats, by the way. She was like, how can I go back? I told my people what we were going to do for them. So I've listened to a lot of responses. Joe Biden is one of the most determined people we've ever seen. And he's determined in a way that's not loud. Sometimes I wish he would be louder, but that's not his way. he gets a vision. He gets an idea of what needs to happen, and he does everything. So don't think for a minute Joe Biden's giving up. In fact, it's raising the stakes. They're not going to let this lie down. It is too crucial. So just take a deep breath. It's ugly, but honestly, this is the soap. And I read also that, I didn't know this before, but Joe Manchin has a history of reneging on promises. He has a history of it. This is not unusual. So I said, okay, what's the lesson? The lesson is one individual should not have this power over the entire United States. There should be no senator, no congressperson that has this power. We need to fix this. This can never happen again. In terms of the debt, which is real, we're going to have debt for a long time. And the actual infrastructure bill is going to create tremendous amount of jobs. It's going to help. But with COVID and everything that we've suffered, we're going to have debt for a while. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Now is the moment. We are in extraordinary times. We need extraordinary measures. Now is the moment for BBB. BBB will happen with a compromise like it always was going to happen. So take a deep breath, be patient. This is what I wanted to share. And I didn't do the quotes today or my usual thing. I just wanted to blast it out on Joe Manchin. He's a bad actor, ethically, morally, and he's just a bad actor. However, I want to share something that's kind of humorous as I leave. I'm going out for a wonderful breakfast. I pictured, you know how Joe Manchin has these expensive suits and this incredible haircut that he probably gets trimmed every 5 days to make it perfect. He's like, perfect. I call him a dandy. But what I did, and this comes from my film and acting background, in every Western that we've ever seen, I happen to like Westerns, there is a terrible sheriff, right? There's a horrible, racist, ugly sheriff. And if you put Joe Manchin in that sheriff's outfit with the badge and with the whiskers and a gun and a cigar, Joe Manchin is that sheriff. We could trade him out for Brian Dennehy in Silverado. Well, not exactly, because Brian Dennehy was brilliant in Silverado. But you know what I mean. The next time you look at an old Western, you're going to see Joe Manchin in chaps and dusty and dirty with a cigar and a gun and whiskers and whiskey. So enjoy that image if that helps at all. And let me say, I will be back. I'm wearing red because we're in the Christmas holiday now. And make peace, make good memories. Watch what's coming. Bye-bye.